Hello, it's Jon Binnie here. I am coming to you from Scotland, and I really wanted to talk to you today about the signs of going through some sort of spiritual awakening. Well, first of all, I feel that everything is spiritual. So, everything in life is spiritual. These trees are spiritual. My dog Patch, he's spiritual. These stones, the grass, everything, it's spiritual. So let's also talk about awakenings. So my first big awakening was in 2017. There was definitely a warm-up to that. And when I look back at some of my photos that I took in the year leading up, I spent a lot of time doing things like this, taking photos of the sky, of the stars, of rainbows, of birds, of all the unexpected things that really stood out to me. I also saw a lot of signs, numbers, 1111, saw a lot, 7s, 4s and 5s, rows of 4s and 5s, many things. I would also feel that they really stood out, that their colour, the vividness of the experience, the low amount of probability, seemingly impossible things that would happen. And that was really beautiful. And the good news is all that continues. It still happens just as much, if not even more and more every day. I really love this tree. It's so intricate. It appears that it's died and reborn several times. How cool is that? And I do feel that one key question we can ask ourselves at every point in our lives that helps us understand awakenings is really awakenings are about opening our hearts. So opening our hearts up to truly receive, how do we feel? How do we feel about everything in our lives at this time? And a great question to ask yourself is, how do I feel about who I've become? How do I feel? How do I feel about Jon? Who Jon's become? And this is a question for your heart. You may be tempted to answer with your mind, and your mind might say, oh, Jon's married and he's got a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful children, beautiful little Patch, the Papillon. There's Patch Cam on Patch Patrol. And these are wonderful things. I might also describe my job title or my home. There's just so many aspects of the mind that can answer who we are, and yet it's not the question, right? The question is, how do we feel? How do we feel about ourselves at this time? So if we feel that we're happy, that we're joyful, that we're, all the areas of our life that we're grateful for, and gratitude is a really high vibration emotion. Depending on how you feel about it, gratitude can be as high as somewhere between 780 hertz as a frequency. And shame, if we're feeling shameful about who we are, what we've become, then maybe that's closer to 20 hertz. Much lower, right? I think there's some pigeons up here doing what pigeons do with each other when they're having fun. So you ask yourself the question, how do you feel about who you've become, who you are right now, and allow your heart to answer. For me, just in case you're interested, for me, I wasn't super happy. It was November 2017, and I was doing quite a few things in my life that I wasn't really happy about who I'd become. I was chasing job titles. I was a senior manager at Amazon Corporate, doing software and AI, and I was busy building teams and earning lots of money. In fact, arguably speaking, more money than I knew what to do with. I had a 6-bedroom house, a big studio, which I was starting to build my own music studio, and for a hobby. And I'd stopped, or at some points had just started to restart certainly by November 2017, I'd started to do a little bit more music. But I'd really lost my passion and love for life. I didn't really know where all this was going. And so I started to face one fear of who I'd become at a time. And the first one was all within, right? That's the best place to start. That's where all of these awakenings happen within us. And they happen mostly in our hearts. They can happen anywhere, but the heart's certainly a big catalyst. And so I started meditating every day for the first time, and it was incredible. Oh yeah, I didn't mention I used to drink a lot of alcohol. What was incredible was that I really struggled to meditate in the morning after drinking a lot the night before, and I was drinking almost every day. And so that put pressure on these two aspects of me. I was enjoying 5 or 10 minutes of meditation every day. It felt rewarding. And just like these cars that are going past the woods here, I was beginning to create a discipline, a practice where I could allow those busy thoughts and those intrusive thoughts to come into my mind. And my heart would just say, it's okay, I know there's always something to think about, there's always something to do. I just allow it to continue on, to drive past, and just say, it's okay, thought, I'll catch up with you after. I trust myself that if it's important, I'll speak to you after this meditation. I deserve this 5 or 10 minutes. So that's what I would do each day. And I still do it each day, in fact every day since. And it started to make me realize there's parts of me that I wasn't happy with anymore. And so I stopped drinking alcohol, and it left me in the evenings when I would have been drinking alcohol, with me. I was left with Jon. And it was quite funny because I remember some of the first reactions I had, or reflections I had, realizations was, I'm just happy to sit on the sofa and drink some water or a cup of coffee. I just need to relax. I'm just tired. I don't need to block everything out or numb myself to the outside world. I just need to rest. And I also really enjoyed creating music in the morning. So every day after meditation, I would create a song based on messages from my meditation. And that was just really, really wonderful. Still is, I still do it. And if you're wondering what else happened in my life, yeah, so many things happened. I started within a couple of years, it must have been 2022, I guess more than a couple of years, what's that, 5 years, I went part-time. For the last 2 years at Amazon, I was part-time as a senior manager, and so working 3 days a week. And I started learning things like reflexology, Swedish massage, I started doing client sessions. Starting doing, just learning on the job, starting with friends and family. I started doing energy healing, psychic readings, just practicing all these things that had come through pigeons. Practicing all these abilities that I've been developing in my meditations, including very early on, I wanted to talk to my spirit guides. So after about 900 days, I remember it vividly, 900 days, 900 times of meditation and asking to speak to my spirit guides, I finally accepted in my mind, because I knew it in my heart, but I accepted in my mind that it's something I could do. So I started doing that with other people and for other people to talk to their guides in sessions, and just doing a couple of those, 1 or 2 hours a week, and just building up, my own capabilities. And so eventually, last year, 2024, May 31st, 2024, I registered Heart-Centered Wellness Limited, my own business, a company of Jon, and that's it. This is my job now. This is my full-time job. I have the number of clients I have, the number of people that have registered on my website is one dimension. It's over 2,000. And hundreds of clients, active clients in sessions, doing sessions for you around the world, remotely, and most of them remotely, over Zoom, and then the rest in person, especially foot massage and Swedish massage, more difficult if you can't do it in person. But yeah, my whole life has changed. So I now, am I happy with who I've become? Yeah, absolutely. I feel very happy. I am so grateful for having the independence to be able to work for myself, and more importantly, to be able to support other people in their awakening journeys, like you guys watching this, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. Because I felt, very lonely at points. Even you describe it as feeling lonely in a crowd, lonely in my awakenings. And I feel we all get to choose whether we awaken, how we awaken, how fast we awaken, how many awakenings we go through. Now, I feel that I'm constantly going through awakenings every single day. I feel every morning I wake up, I'm now, okay, who am I now? Who am I today? Am I happy with who I've become? And these questions aren't unsettling for me. They are exciting for me. And I feel that a huge balance, to all this shadow work and facing your fears and questioning whether you leave jobs or relationships or homes. Oh yeah, I moved home as well. Downsized our home from 6-bedroom to 4-bedroom. Sold our car and I just kept our camper van. And yeah, many things. Got rid of a load of things. In fact, I remember I counted something over 27 carloads, quite big carloads of stuff we donated to charity, sold or gave away in our move and since. Yeah, a big thing that I feel is a massive compensation or harmonization to having to do all this shadow work and face your fears and all your demons. Oh man, it is tough. And to do it almost every day, and constantly question the very core of your being. That's so different to who I was before, because I was never asking these questions. But the fabulous counter to this is this journey of exploring the greatest fun for you, greatest joy for you. I've never had so much fun in my life. Even what I'm doing right now, it's super fun. Walking around the woods and chatting with you. I bought a skateboard. I go running every day, Monday to Friday. I love going on camping adventures. I have new hobbies such as sky watching at night with a night vision camera. That was my last video I posted about UFOs and UAPs. I go exploring in the woods at night time, experiencing the magic, and the daytime, talking to trees and connecting with fae beings, and it's just this. It's the magical world I knew existed when I was a child, and yet I was, told that it wasn't real, and I allowed myself to believe that these things weren't real, and it made for a largely, for many years, constrained life and constraining happiness. I now feel that there's no constraints, that there is nothing but an infinite opportunity of joy and exploration. So that's my tips for you is, and I also create a lot of music. In fact, I did get a world record in 2022 for the most albums digitally released. And back then it was 110 albums. And now, now I'm 173 albums, over 2,700 songs. So if you do all the maths, there's about 500 songs I didn't put into albums. Because I actually used to record them in the morning at my old work before I started my day. Did 500 songs doing that. And there's no, I remember some people have asked me like, oh Jon, how'd you get all the energy for, creating so much music or creating all this content on YouTube, etc. I just feel it's because I love it. It's because I just love it. Yesterday, Thursday as well, actually, I had quite a lot of time off on Thursday. I finished mid-afternoon. That was my last client session. And then Friday, I spent hours with my family. I had a lovely lunchtime meal and then walk. And then, I don't know how many hours, 5 hours with my family. And then today is like another family day. And this is it really. I get to do the joy of talking to you guys and then spending time with my family. And your world can be how you choose it, and it all starts with working on your heart. And if you're interested, just explore more of my content. Maybe some of it will resonate with you, whether it's my prediction videos, music, meditations. And if you're watching this video, well, you will be, because otherwise I'm talking to myself. And if you're watching this video, if you'd like to, why not comment in the comments of the video and just say a little bit about your awakenings. When did your awakenings happen? Was it you managed to kind of stay awakened through your early weeks, months, years of life? Did you ever shut yourself down? I feel I shut myself down between about the ages of 6 and 40. I'm 48 now. And tell us a bit about where you're from, even if it's just the country or continent, and any tips you have for other people. Because in those moments of loneliness where we feel lonely in a crowd, and I do feel part of the awakening journeys are for us to experience some isolation, because when we do, what happens is we allow ourselves to truly find ourselves, to truly, without all the noise of other people's energies or their opinions, or other people telling us what our job title is, our family role, whatever it is, that we're able to begin to answer those questions. and fully open ourselves up. And it can be really lonely. And I was very lonely for several years. And so if you're feeling alone, please know that more and more people are going through this. In fact, an exponential rate of people are awakening in the world at this time. And I hope that you're able to say hello in the comments and just introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm John, and insert your name. Hi, I'm John, and I feel I'm going through awakenings, and I'm from Scotland, and I feel I'm beginning to find myself again, open my heart and find myself again. You write whatever you want. It's really just an idea. Anyway, I'm gonna head home, and it was fun patch walking around the track. I'm gonna head home, and then we're off to visit some family members and do some shopping, which will be fun. All right, take care. Sending love.